Brown residence?
Hi. Do you know where I could find Emmett Brown?
Young Master Brown is currently tending to his clerking duties at the courthouse. Who may I say is calling?
The courthouse? Doc never told me he worked at the courthouse. Young Doc's in the courthouse. I hope I'll be able to recognize him.
Don't touch those! These are very sensitive legal documents. Nobody is supposed to handle them but sworn officers of the court. Judge Brown says so.
Judge Brown? Doc. Nice to meet you. I'm Michael, Corleone.
Emmett Brown, but I am a law clerk, not a doctor. Now please get out of my way. I have important business to transact. Naturally, h2 of A multiplied by the inversion of H has to come out less than expectation value of A, right? What am I missing here? Or do we take H's standard limiting line on? But in that case, H to the A multiplied by the inverse of A might well be equal to A's expectation value, but only if the coefficient of friction remains constant and the gravitational constant is variable. Wait, is that even possible? Oh, let's start over. Force equals mass times acceleration, of course. That's Newton. But how many newtons are required to maintain a constant mass?
Listen, Emmett, you don't know me, but I'm your friend.
I'm not big on friends. They get in the way of work.
Listen, I understand you're working on a new invention in your lab.
Invention? You must have me mixed up with somebody else. I'm in law. I have absolutely no interest in science.
I better not. Those lawyers sound kind of nasty.
Well, no. I'm going to be the inverse.
Come on, wait up a minute.
You again? Can't you see I'm busy?
Okay, so you don't want your old man to know. That's fine. Listen, we all keep secrets. But I'm telling you can level with me about this science project of yours.
I am not a scientist. Go ahead, ask me what E equals.
What does E equal?
I have absolutely no idea. See? I don't know where you got your information from about me, mister, but you're wrong. But only if the coefficient of friction remains constant and the gravitational constant is variable. Wait, is that even possible? Now, if H stands for a one-dimensional harmonic oscillator, then naturally H2 of A multiplied by the inversion of H has to come out less than expectation value of A, right? No. What am I missing here? Well, no. H. I'm going to be the inverse. No. It's not possible. No.
I don't need to go in there anymore.
Now, if H stands...
Will you just give me a chance?
Harassment's a federal crime, Mr. Corleone.
Come on, you could trust me, Doc. Emmett, it's your future I'm looking out for, in more ways than one.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about you and science.
Oh, that word again! If you insinuate I'm a scientist once more, I'll sue you for defamation of character! But in that case, h to the a multiplied by the inverse of a might be equal to a's expectation value, but only if the coefficient of friction remains constant and the gravitational constant is variable. Wait, is that even possible? Oh, let's start over. Force equals mass times acceleration, of course. That's Newton. But how many newtons are required to maintain a constant mass if acceleration is reduced by the inverse of the derivative of the speed relative to the speed of light? Oh, which brings us back to h. Well, no. H. I'm going to be the inverse. Oh, yes. Oh, no. It's not possible. No. Or do we take h to stand for the Hermitian?
Will you just give me a chance?
Harassment's a federal crime, Mr. Corleone.
What's this important business you're up to?
It's a legal matter, very complicated, very abstruse. I need to obtain 5 sets of initials on every copy of this writ of indemnification before before Judge Brown can even think of granting a waiver to the party in the first part.
You have no idea what it's about, do you?
That's how important it is.
See, I'm sort of in the science business myself. That's why I sought you out.
Not that I care in the least, because science is the furthest thing from my own area of interest, which is law, but I don't believe you.
It's true. I'm a scientist.
So tell me something, Mr. Scientist, from your vast storehouse of scientific knowledge.
The leg bone's connected to the thigh bone?
Amazing.
So, Emmett, what time are you through with work?
Depends. On weeknights, Pop sometimes keeps me in the office till 9.
9 at night? But today's Saturday.
Right. So I probably won't get off before 10.
Come on, Doc. Emmett, drop the Legal Eagle Act. I got something more important for you to do.
Mr. Corleone, I'll have you know that the law is the very mortar that holds society together, and we in the legal profession are like brick masons building the edifice of the future.
Your dad tell you that?
Every morning.
Emmett, about
Don't
your...
say it. Now, if H stands for the one-dimensional harmonic oscillator, then naturally H2A multiplied by the inversion of H has to come out less than expectation value of A, right? No. What am I missing here? Well, no. H. I'm going to be the inverse. Oh, yes.
Will you just give me a chance?
Harassment's a federal crime, Mr. Corleone.
How about you knock off work early and I'll buy you a beer or soda? What do you say?
Don't try to tempt me from my duty with sugary beverages. Keeping the wheels of justice turning, that's my one passion in life. Besides, if I left before 8, my pop would kill me.
Sounds like you're a little scared of your father.
Scared of my father? Pop is the most learned, just, incorruptible judge that Hill Valley has ever seen. The only people scared of Judge Brown are people with a dark secret to hide. And I don't have a dark secret to hide.
Sounds like you're a little scared of your father.
Scared of my father? Pop is the most learned, just, incorruptible judge that Hill Valley has ever seen. The only people scared of Judge Brown are people with a dark secret to hide. And I don't have a dark secret to hide.
Emmett, about
Don't
your...
say it. No, not possible. No. Now, if H stands for the one-dimensional harmonic oscillator, then naturally H2A multiplied by the inversion of H has to come out less than expectation value of A, right? No. What am I missing here? Or do we take H?
Will you just give me a chance?
Harassment's a federal crime, Mr. Corleone.
Emmett, about
Don't
your...
say it. Occasional consonant variable. Wait, is that even possible? Oh,
I don't need to go in there anymore. Man, young Doc mumbles even more than old Doc.
it's A's expectation value, but only if the coefficient of friction remains constant and the gravitational constant is variable.
Will you just give me a chance?
Harassment's a federal crime, Mr. Corleone.
Sounds like you're a little scared of your father.
Scared of my father? Pop is the most learned, just, incorruptible judge that Hill Valley has ever seen. The only people scared of Judge Brown are people with a dark secret to hide. And I don't have a dark secret to hide.
Emmett, about your...
Don't say it. What am I missing here?
Hey, how you doing, Einie?
Harmonic oscillator, then naturally H2A multiplied by the inversion of H.
Will you just give me a chance?
Harassment's a federal crime, Mr. Corleone.
Sounds like you're a little scared of your father.
Scared of my father? Pop is the most learned, just, incorruptible judge that Hill Valley has ever seen. The only people scared of Judge Brown are people with a dark secret to hide. And I don't have a dark secret to hide.
Emmett, about
Don't
your...
say it. To the A multiplied by the inverse of A might well be equal to A's expectation value, but only if the friction remains constant and the gravitational constant is variable. Wait, is that even possible? Oh, let's start over. Force equals mass times acceleration, of course. That's Newton. But how many newtons are required to maintain a constant mass if acceleration is reduced by the inverse of the derivative of the speed relative to the speed of light? Oh, it brings back to H. Well, no. Going to be the inverse. Oh, yes.
Nah.
No. Not possible. No. Or do we take H to stand for the Hermitian line operator? Well, in that case, H to the A multiplied by the inverse of A might well be equal to A's expectation value, but only if the coefficient of friction remains constant and the gravitational constant is variable. Wait, is that even
I wonder if
possible?
old Doc would know what young Doc is mumbling about.
So one-dimensional harmonic oscillator, then naturally H2.
Psst, Doc!
Marty, have you found my younger self yet?
Guess who I bumped into at the soup kitchen? My grandfather.
No!
Don't worry, I didn't talk to him or change his future or anything.
Good.
I wish I could, though. This era's Tannen is treating him like dirt.
Don't worry. If history plays out as it's supposed to, he'll soon be out from under Kit Tannen's thumb and free to live out his life as a humble accountant with your grandma. What was her name again?
Sylvia.
Right, Sylvia.
How'd you wind up in jail in 1931 anyway?
During my trip to the past, I decided to look into one of Hill Valley's unsolved mysteries.
The fire at the speakeasy.
Exactly. I thought I was safely hidden across the street. But when the fire started, there was a tremendous explosion, and I was knocked unconscious by a stray brick. When I woke up, I was here in jail, charged with arson.
That's horrible.
I know. Worse yet, I still don't know who started the fire.
Where have you been all this time? I missed you.
I've missed you too, Marty. But I thought it was important to let you live your own life for a while, free from the insanity of time travel.
I gotta admit, it was nice to not have my family history blowing up in my face for a few months.
Besides, I've been busy raising my own unpredictable teenagers.
Well, I met your younger self,
Great.
and I gotta say, you're kind of uptight.
What?
You won't even talk to me.
I find that hard to believe. Tell me what happened.
You know, your younger self seems really dedicated to the law.
It's a facade, I assure you. I had to keep up appearances to appease my father.
I tried asking him about your rocket drill, but he says he's not a scientist.
What? What? Father.
What's he got to do with this?
In 1931, I was still deathly afraid of my father discovering the truth about my scientific predilections, so I carefully kept them under wraps, practicing science at odd hours, away from his prying eyes.
That sucks.
It sucked a lot. Fortunately, I eventually stood up to him, but right now, my younger self probably thinks he's been sent by my father to check up on me.
What do I do to convince Teen Doc that I'm not a spy?
I'm not sure.
Why does your younger self mutter all the time?
Muttering? Why would I be muttering? I never mutter unless... the Hill Valley Expo!
The expo?
Yes, the Expo! How could I have forgotten? In a few months, the younger me will put on a demonstration at the Hill Valley Exposition, my first public foray into the world of science. Everyone in town will be there, including a number of noted inventors who shaped my career.
So, it was a big success?
No, it was a miserable failure, but it was a spectacularly miserable failure, one which marked my transition from an amateur garage scientist into a professional seeker of truth.
What do I do to convince Teen Doc that I'm not a spy?
I'm not sure.
Let's talk about your younger self's problems later.
Okay, but don't forget we're on a bit of a deadline here.
I'll never be able to remember what young Doc's mumbling about.
than expectation value of A, right? No. What am I missing here? Or do...
Will you just give me a chance?
Harassment's a federal crime, Mr. Corleone.
Emmett, about
Don't
your...
say it. Oh, let's start over. Force equals mass times acceleration, of course. That's Newton. But how many newtons are required to maintain a constant mass if acceleration is reduced by the inverse of the derivative of the speed relative to the speed of light? Oh, it brings back to h. Well, no. Going to be the inverse. Oh, yes. I know. No. It's not possible. No. Or do we take h to stand for the Hermitian line operator? But in that case, h to the a multiplied by the inverse of a might well be equal to a's expectation value, but only if the coefficient of friction remains constant and the gravitational constant is variable. Wait, is that even possible? Now, if h stands for a one-dimensional harmonic oscillator, then naturally h to a multiplied by the inversion of h has to come out less than expectation value of a, right?
I should record some samples of old-timey people talking and use it in a new song.
Well, no. Going to be the inverse. Oh, yes. I know. No. It's not possible. No.
I don't need to go in there anymore.
Now, if h stands for a one-dimensional harmonic oscillator, then naturally h to a multiplied by the inversion of h has to come out less than